Here's a look at all of the gel crayons that I own. Whether you are new to gel crayons or even just considering them, in this video, I cover everything you need to know to get started with gel crayons. I have been working with this medium for a couple months now, and I have to tell you that overall, I really like gel crayons. They are great for art journaling or any kind of casual art. I wouldn't say they are a professional art medium by any means, but they are really fun to work with. They are soft and smooth, and you can even add water to them to create watercolor effects. So as I have explored this medium, I have picked up 4 sets of gel crayons. Silky crayons by Creatology. I also have gel sticks by KingArt. Then there are Gelatos by Faber-Castell, which actually they're starting to call these art crayons. And then these Silky gel crayons by US Art Supply. So throughout this video, I will be demonstrating these different products, and I'll be sure to label them so you know which product I'm using. And I also think it's worth noting that I have only used these gel crayons on sketchbook paper and watercolor paper. So all of the information and insights that I can offer here are based on those 2 papers. Also, I wanted to mention that everything I share in this video is based on my own experience and is my own opinion. And then finally, if you find value in this video, I ask that you like this video and subscribe to this channel, because these are the easiest ways to see more content like this. All right, now let's explore these gel crayons. Okay, first, what are gel crayons? Gel crayons are soft and water-soluble coloring sticks, which means you can use them dry or activate them with water for a watercolor effect. They are so soft that the material comes in a twistable plastic tube. At least all the brands I have seen come that way. From what I can find online, gel crayons are made from a combination of pigments, wax, and a gel base. In my experience working with several brands of gel crayons, they seem to use different ratios of ingredients and may also use slightly different ingredients as well. In particular, the gel sticks by KingArt seem to be the wettest of all the brands I have. So I assume there is something different with either their ingredients or the mix of ingredients. But it's very difficult to find out what's in gel crayons beyond these few basics. Next, why are gel crayons called crayons? Now, I admit that I didn't understand how they could be called crayons because I thought that all crayons were made out of hard wax. So I did a little research and learned that according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, a crayon is a stick of white or colored chalk or colored wax used for writing or drawing. I also learned that the English word crayon is actually a French word, but it's pronounced slightly differently. And originally it was used to describe a pencil-shaped piece of colored clay or chalk used for drawing on paper. So the word crayon actually has a fairly broad definition, which means there are many art supplies that can qualify as crayons. And as I have already alluded to, the term gel crayon isn't used consistently, even though the products are fairly similar. Toward the end of this video, I will review each set that I have tried in more depth. Now, are gel crayons opaque? Overall, I would say yes. They can be quite opaque if you are working with them dry. Once I apply the gel crayons, I like to smooth them out with a dry cotton swab to help even out the color. Gel crayons become more semi-opaque when you try to layer them. The biggest challenge with layering gel crayons when they are dry is that the first color binds with the paper the best. So when you add a second color on top, there isn't much for the gel crayon to adhere to. The first layer is too smooth to hold an additional layer of gel crayon. And if you try to smooth it out, most of the gel crayon comes off the page. And then if you use water with them, they become more translucent. And I will share a couple techniques in a minute when I share more about how to use water with them. Next, are gel crayons blendable? I would say sort of. If you are using gel crayons dry, they are definitely smoothable, but I wouldn't say they blend very well together. You definitely cannot blend them together to form a new color because they don't layer well, so they also don't combine very well together. So when it comes to working with gel crayons, I like to make gradients with them, where I smooth out several colors that are either monochromatic or analogous on the color spectrum. And I say that you can sort of blend gel crayons together because once you introduce some water, they become more blendable. Now, here are a couple of ways that I like to use gel crayons with water. First, you can draw with the gel crayons and then go over them with a wet paintbrush. For example, if you draw some soft curves, it can be very relaxing to trace over them with the brush. The other technique with water is to apply the gel crayons to a plastic or glass palette, something with a really smooth surface. I'm using a plastic lid here because it's what I had on hand. And then you can use the wet paintbrush to pick up the gel crayon color. Even if the colors dry a bit on the palette, you can still activate them with a little water. This is also a great way to create custom colors and where gel crayons become the most blendable. If you are wondering why you wouldn't just use watercolor paint, the biggest benefit I have found to using gel crayons as watercolor is that they become mostly permanent once they are dry, so it's easier to layer them. I will show you this in a moment. And this probably goes without saying, but if you are going to use gel crayons with water, it's best to use watercolor paper because it's designed to handle it. Finally, are gel crayons permanent? Do they smudge or ghost? My experience with using gel crayons dry is that they will set and not smudge, as long as you're using them on the material that the product is designed to be used on. And I have found that smoothing them out also tends to help minimize smudging. This page was made about a month ago with 3 of the 4 gel crayons that I had, and only the KingArt smudged. By the time I was done with the page, both the Silky crayon by Creatology and the Silky gel crayon by US Art Supply were fully set. But the gel sticks needed much more time to fully cure. They no longer smudge now. And I haven't had any trouble with ghosting, where the gel crayon smudges onto the page across from it in my sketchbook. Lastly, when gel crayons are used like watercolor paint, they do not lift off the page when you apply more water after they have dried. They layer the best when you apply them to a plastic palette, add water, and then paint with them. However, if you use the gel crayons dry and add water to them later, remember that they are water soluble and will activate even if they were once fully set and did not smudge. If you truly want gel crayons to be permanent, you need to spray a fixative on your work. So what is the best set of gel crayons for art journaling? I think this depends on how you want to use them and how much you want to spend. Here's what I think about all the sets I have. The first set of gel crayons I purchased was a set of 24 Silky crayons by Creatology. And I still really love them. Probably the most of all the sets I have. They came in a nice box with a tray, but the piece of plastic that held the second layer of gel crayons in place was so flimsy that I threw it out and put all the crayons in the main tray loose. I love that they are very affordable for 24 colors, and were still a high quality product. My favorite technique with these gel crayons is to work with them dry and then smooth them out with a dry cotton swab. You can leave them as is or use acrylic paint pens to draw or doodle on top of them. Although I should warn you that sometimes gel crayons can gum up felt tip markers. Next, I have a set of 48 gel sticks by KingArt and really like the assortment of colors. Plus, the packaging is superb. These gel crayons come in a box and then are secured in 4 trays of 12. The other great thing about KingArt gel sticks is that you can buy them as open stock from their website, and they ship internationally. In total, they currently have 72 colors available as open stock. The one downside to these gel crayons is that they are the wettest of all the brands I have tried. So they smudge the most even if they have had a hairdryer or a heat gun applied for a couple of minutes. They take a long time to cure. But I found that after 24 hours, they will fully set and stop smudging. I believe that's partly due to the paper I am using them on. I typically use them on sketchbook paper that has a fine tooth surface, which I believe helps the gel sticks adhere to. If I'm using them dry, I also smooth them out with a dry cotton swab to pick up the extra product so there's less smudging. The next product I have are Gelatos by Faber-Castell. And I have heard that they are rebranding this product to be called Art Crayons. This was the most expensive product I tested. And there are a lot of reviews online that say this product is superior to other gel crayons and they are worth the expense. But I have not really found that to be true. They're not as soft and creamy as the other gel crayons I have, and I don't think their pigment is better as watercolor. They do have nice packaging where there is a spot for each gel crayon in the tray, and the sets I have contained a small paintbrush. Even though I am somewhat disappointed in them and probably won't buy more, I will enjoy using these up. And finally, I have a set of 36 Silky gel crayons from US Art Supply, which are also called super crayons. I bought these because the listing on Amazon said that they were Silky gel crayons, but the packaging I received says that they are gel crayons. And that's what I mean about the labeling of gel crayons being so confusing. They came in a plastic box where each gel crayon has a place to lock into, which I love because they stayed organized easily. In terms of the product itself, I would put it as very similar to the Silky crayons from Creatology, but they are available in more colors. The set I have has 36 colors, and right now that's their biggest set. However, these Silky gel crayons are about twice the cost of the Silky crayons I have. I still think they are an affordable option, but it's important to keep in mind that prices can change, and the price will also depend on whether they are on sale or not. These are my favorite gel crayons for using with water. There is something about the product that produces more vibrant colors. All right, now that's everything I could think of to help you get started with gel crayons. If you enjoyed this video, I think you would also like the review I did on Tempera paint sticks. If you aren't familiar with Tempera paint sticks, they are like working with a glue stick, but with paint in them. They're usually marketed to kids, but they are really fun to work with regardless of your age. And in that video, I walk through all the brands that I have tried in the past year. I hope you enjoy that video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks for being here.